And welcome in to the Recliner Media Network here as we are diving into our full court press edition as we preview the WNBA, which it got started today. We got a little bit later of a jump than we wanted, but we are here with you as we preview, give you an outlook on the W season here coming up in 2026. We'll preview players. We'll kind of go back and recap the draft. It was a crazy training camp cut season as well. Me and Matt were texting each other back and forth like, man, did you see this person get traded? Did you see this person get cut? But yeah, we got a lot to dive into here as we roll on this Friday evening. Matt, how the heck are you?
I'm doing good. I'm happy. I'm happy we're into the dub season as our NBA season has kind of took a turn. I mean, I'm still locked in. I'm still watching the NBA playoffs, but as our season takes a turn for it's over 1, 2, 3 Cancun. I'm excited about the dub. Like we've been texting back and forth and just going over things, but I'm really excited about the season. A healthy Caitlin Clark. We saw some games tonight that Toronto looks pretty good. The Mystics, they're stacked. They are freaking loaded, and they're still looking to put things together. We got Seattle and Golden State going right now. So yeah, I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped for this season. I really am.
Yeah, we'll take live look-ins on the game right now as Golden State with a 28-27 lead here in the second quarter. We'll get into those teams really quickly, but kind of going back, we did a live draft show a couple weeks ago. As it was going on, we saw the crazy trade. I don't even know if it was necessarily crazy, but it was very much shocking. And it was these Golden State Valkyries trading on draft night Flau'jae Johnson to the, ironically, Seattle Storm, the two teams that are playing right now. Flau'jae obviously made the first basket of the night, a three-pointer for Seattle in her first regular season outing. And we saw the trade go down as Golden State had, Seattle had drafted Marta Suarez, the senior from TCU. And lo and behold, Matt, a couple weeks after the draft, Golden State waives Marta Suarez. I hope she finds a home somewhere. And I'm glad that these expansion teams happen for this reason, because there's so many talented players that don't have a home. And then obviously Flau'jae is starting now for Seattle. We knew she would take to the W pretty quick. But what was your overall thoughts, not only on the trade, as we I don't know if we were on air when it happened, because Marta Suarez was drafted in the second round, and Flau'jae was kind of a mid to late round first round pick. And then what did you make of Golden State basically flipping her upside down and waving her?
This is an example of, and we're gonna see. I'm curious. I guess I'm curious to see if we see more of this. We have, but as they figure out a salary cap, as they figure out how to manage the salaries, who they're going to pay, how much they're going to pay, what's it look like to keep this player over this player. We saw Haley Van Lith get let go. Kate Martin got let go. I'm sure we'll get into all of that, but we're seeing a lot of these players get let go, just outright cut. But it's weird to see an investment into a player, then you make the trade, and then the player that was traded, that was acquired during the trade, you let go. So essentially you're just letting, like, that was weird. That was really odd, really weird. So I don't understand it. I guess we'll see if it's financially, and we'll see what the ramifications come from on the court from doing something like that, or could have been better. But I think a lot of this stuff has to do financially with teams now. The WNBA is growing. It's they got all this money now. Now we're going to see if it's going, how are they, like, are we going to start seeing people from that have ran other teams come in and take charge of these teams in a general manager front office situation, when before I don't even know who was exactly who's running these teams or who's doing all this stuff. So I think that's something that's next to see in the WNBA as we move forward is how are they going to figure out to pay all these players?
Yeah, and the GM of Golden State, I'm gonna butcher her name, so pardon me and pardon me trying to pronounce, but Ohima Nainen. I'm probably butchering it, but remember, she was asked about that trade during or right soon thereafter the draft, and she said, I'm not divulging our secrets. I'm not basically laying down the blueprint for this team, and it was just weird. I mean, good for Seattle. They won the trade. Obviously, I was hoping to see Marta Suarez bloom and blossom in the WNBA, and yeah, it was just a weird kind of thing that happened. But now that the dust is settled and they waive Marta Suarez, you kind of go back and like, well, what was that all about? I don't know if she has come out and said anything since training camp and why they cut her, but I guess the nature of the beast that is the WNBA, Matt, we see them they land a really good player in Gabby Williams. Again, another former Seattle Storm playing for the Valkyries in this game. Gabby obviously is a defensive stalwart in the WNBA. She led the league in steals last year, and she plays overseas a bunch. And she's just really good at basketball. So Golden State got, I guess, a little better. I don't know if it's really addition by subtraction, Matt. When you're waiving a rookie, obviously, and you get a player in the caliber that is Gabby Williams, you basically waived Marta Suarez and replaced her with Gabby Williams. Again, the whole situation is kind of weird, but what did you make of Gabby getting signed by Golden State and how she fits into the Valkyries?
You just said it right there, and they're choosing veteran. They're choosing players that have been here before over rookies and over rookies or even second year players. I mentioned earlier when Haley Van Lith got released, Chicago went over and they signed who'd they pick up real quick? A veteran,
Skylar Diggins.
Yeah, I mean, and then they went and snatched up just like that. Just I mean, it was like, okay, so
oh no, yeah, they basically replaced her with Natasha Cloud. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to find. Natasha Cloud.
They signed Skylar before that, but
who's a former champ. She's been there, she's done it. So if you look at Chicago from their perspective, they're loading up. I mean, they got rid of Angel. They basically got rid of their whole draft for the past couple of years outside of Cardoso. They kept Cardoso, but they traded Angel. They cut Haley, and then they signed Cloud, and then Van Sloot's there. She's I mean, I don't even know how old she is, but she's a vet. She's a vet. So we're seeing teams that are trying to take on and Golden State, for example, like the coach there is one of my favorite coaches in the WNBA, and it was hard for her. She was even talking about how they let go Kate, that she was talking about how that they're trying to make the team better. They're trying to but they're not saying money wise. They're not saying that yet. So I think a lot of this has to do with they're going to vets. They're going to bring the players that have done it before, and they're kind of letting these rookies or letting these second year players go. And I'm curious to see if that's going to be the norm through the next couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, and just some crazy the movement in the W, especially during like training camp preseason, is just ridiculous. And let's look at Chicago for a minute. They, like you said, basically retooled their entire roster except for Camila Cardoso. And, they, like you said, we mentioned they bring in Skylar Diggins, another veteran. Like you said, they have Van Sloot over there, who's like a 20-year vet. She went down with a knee injury last year, and she missed a bunch of time. So it is crazy that, man, we thought like other professional sports were like cutthroat, man, but this is really, this is what it is. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Golden State Valkyries, I think another shocking thing that happened was Kate Martin getting waived the other day. And, she was the Valkyries, one of their top picks in the expansion draft last year, fan favorite. She gets hurt in this offseason, and they're just like, we're not patient enough to wait for you to get healthy. See ya. I mean, in other sports, they kind of have, stuff in their contract that says you cannot release a player that's kind of dealing with an injury. The WNBA is like, screw this. Like we do not have patience to wait for people to get healthy, it seems. Obviously some teams are not like that, but Golden State is I guess winning, for lack of a better term, the off season, Matt, just by I mean, taking swings at things and making surprising moves. What did you make of Kate Martin getting waived?
It was crazy, her being injured there. I remember watching her during the Rival. Did she play in that, or did she get hurt in the Rival? I can't remember.
Yeah,
exactly.
She did not. She didn't play all that much. I think she was still kind of dealing with.
She was dealing with something. I remember that, and I felt like she could be somebody. Watching her last year, she's a big part of that team, and I felt like she was like that when she went and played with Vegas. When Vegas drafted her last year or the year before that, I should say. I felt like she could be one of those staples, one of those young teams or players that you can build around leadership wise. I know CC loves her. They're friends, and everything that I was reading and seeing, she's a big part of that culture that they've built there, the team in its second year. So extremely confused. And you kind of look at this and you can, we don't know for sure, because we don't really know what it looks like to build a team to win now in the WNBA. But Chicago, I could say they could be looking at trying to win now. This could be a move where they're trying to win now. We saw a Fever team almost make it into the finals last year that was a depleted Fever team. So I think a lot of these teams are looking at it. We're getting more teams. We're getting more teams into the league. The rosters are going to get bigger, or there's not going to be as many, and they're just trying to go all in and try to get as much as they can right now. That's what it looks like anyway. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. So looking at the Chicago team, I mean, they are just jacked full of guards, and we saw who they picked in the draft. Obviously, you bring in Gabriela Jaquez, who had a very strong preseason. You add in the veterans, Courtney Vandersloot again, just a vet. Skylar Diggins, just a vet. Natasha Cloud, a vet. They also bring in Dejanay Carrington, one of our favorite players as well. And then you add to the mix JC Sheldon, who I think is a very good player as well. We saw. I mean, this is her third team in a year. I mean, it's if that doesn't tell you how crazy this league is. Which is why, like you said, good team, or it's good that they're expanding teams. And then their front court, Matt, they only have 3 forwards/centers on this Chicago Sky team. Camila Cardoso, obviously, at 6'7", holding down the middle, but then they bring in Azura Stevens from LA in the offseason, and then Elizabeth Williams, who's 6'3", kind of a smaller forward. But that is Chicago's team as they kind of shook things up in the offseason. I think Dejanay is still a little banged up as well, as we saw her with Minnesota. Didn't get a lot of run in the playoffs last year because of her injury. Everywhere you looked on her, Matt, she had like that what do you call that, like tape that they tape all over, and they make cool shapes on their shoulders with it and stuff. Yeah. Whatever that. I mean, she was just covered in that tape as she was dealing with a lot. I think she had a foot injury. So they are just trying a new direction. I forgot to mention Rachel Banham as well, who's one of the few returning players from last season for the Chicago Sky, on top of Camila Cardoso and Courtney Vandersloot. So Chicago, one of the teams that, again, if you're winning an offseason, you make swings and hope they land. Another team I wanted to discuss too, Matt, was the Connecticut Sun, soon to be the Houston Comets again, maybe. I'm really excited that Reagan Beers, who went undrafted, she did transfer last season to Oklahoma, but I'm glad that she made the craziness that we saw in training camp, Matt, a player that went undrafted of all things actually made the team out of training camp. But she's a big body. I like her game. Aaliyah Edwards, they just exercised her option. I think she's a really good player. and you add Brittany Griner to that mix on the thing, and then they obviously draft Gianna Neepkins and Charlize Ledger Walker from UCLA. Um, I'll be honest with you, Matt. I'm kind of surprised that they did go after Haley Van Lith. I'm so glad
Yep.
that HVL. Me and you both love her. We're both happy that she found a team. But I'm honestly surprised that Connecticut went after her again after another team that's just stacked with guards. I mean, listen. I mean, Kennedy Burke, Ashlyn Jackson from Duke, who got waived by Golden State, and she
Yep.
made the Connecticut roster. Gianna Neepkins, Charlize Ledger Walker, Shea Petty, Sanaya Rivers, and Haley Van Lith. So another team that is just guard heavy.
Yeah, and like Beers on it. Like I love seeing Beers there. She's a Colorado girl too.
Yeah.
Seeing her out there. Anissa Morrow was on this team. I loved her coming out of the draft last year. One of my favorite players that I love to watch. But yeah, like you went through it there. There's Chicago went loaded up on all vets. There wasn't outside of Cardoso and one other. There wasn't a player that hasn't been in the league at least 3+ seasons. In this one, they're going a little bit younger here, but with I was the same way too. Like seeing Haley Van Lith go to Connecticut, get an opportunity there. I don't know if that's going to be her final destination. There might be a trade. We'll see how that goes. But I do like Connecticut. They're loaded up. I got a couple of my favorite players on there. Like I already mentioned, Anissa Morrow, and with Haley Van Lith now. So yeah, Connecticut is another team that I'm looking for. There's a lot of teams I'm looking forward to watching this year.
Yeah, and I wanted to get your opinion too on the Minnesota Lynx, who I mean, they're so close to winning it every year, and then they get devastated by injury. Last year, we just talked about Dejanay Carrington and then Nafisa Collier, who's still out, by the way. And so they kind of retooled. You lose one half of the stud buds. As Natisha Heidemann, who's on the team we're watching now in Seattle, starting point guard. First time, by the way, she started a game, Matt, since 2023, which is hard to believe. And and then they lose Bridget Carlton. I'm really shocked that they put BC. I'm surprised they didn't protect her from the expansion draft. I'm glad that she goes the first pick by Portland, mind you, in the expansion draft. So I'm glad she's getting a shot to kind of be the person. Really good shooter. Not a high points per game average, but she really fit in well with what Minnesota's doing. So I hope she does well in Portland. Just ordered her jersey, by the way. And so, yeah, it has just been crazy. But you look at Minnesota, I mean, a year or two removed from being in the finals, and you really only have, Matt, let's see, 4 returning players from last year. And if you include Nafisa Collier in that, who's still injured, by the way, then you only have 3. And that is crazy to me. You have Dorka, who's coming back, Kayla McBride, who was banged up in the playoffs, and Courtney Williams. And that's it. Those are your only 4 returning players from last year. You obviously strike gold in the draft with Olivia Miles as your first pick, and you add her to the backcourt. It's going to be good. But they bring in Natasha Howard, the veteran who won a championship with Minnesota a long time ago. Emise Hoff, a lot of European players. Antonia Delaire and Nia Coffey, who's been around the block. Maya Caldwell, who's been around the block. So, what is your take on Minnesota? Kind of I mean, everything's going to shake up in an offseason, especially in an offseason where the CBA was struck and these women are finally getting higher paychecks. But what do you make of Minnesota? Do they find themselves in a rock and a hard place now with all these moves? And are we going to see them be as successful as we've seen in the last couple seasons?
That's what it is. This is like a total retool. They get the number 2 pick. They go with Olivia Miles, who they throw into that backcourt. Of Nafisa, when she gets better, she's one of the best players, if arguably the best player in the league. Throw in Natasha Howard in there. You could be looking at this situation in Minnesota like a retooling kind of situation. But if Miles hits and Collier gets back, I mean, Coach Reeve, like she might have a I wouldn't it's too early to say because you just don't know how rookies like Olivia Miles is going to react into the league. But she comes from Notre Dame. Those are it's a great school with just loaded with guards. You saw a player to play tonight. Mabry was going off tonight. She's a Notre Dame guard. Hannah Hidalgo's there. You came from there. We saw Citron go off tonight. Another Notre Dame guard. There's so many Notre Dame guards that have been successful. Notre Dame players have been successful in the WNBA. I think Olivia Miles is going to be another one. If she does hit this Lynx team and everybody gets healthy and Nafisa starts to get back and Howard plays well, this Lynx team could be one of those teams that just they go from from dead last to back up to leading the pack again. So it could be, and Coach Reeves has that she's been there, done that. She's been there before. So we'll see what happens with but it all I think it depends on these especially Olivia Miles. If she hits and Collier gets healthy and she comes back strong, this could be a pretty good team.
Yeah, and I'm just nervous for him. You don't want Nafisa to sit too long because then you start digging yourself a hole. I get it. There's only 14 teams in the league, but you got to start. It's almost like baseball, man. You know how the old cliche is you can't win the division in April, but you could start to lose it. You start digging yourself a hole, and it's going to be tough to climb out of. Another team I wanted to kind of spotlight here is the defending champion Las Vegas Aces, who it's funny because they're one of the few teams, Matt, who are running it back if it were the most players, and it's only 6. So if that tells you anything, that they're leading the league in players coming back from last season, which is 6. And as we look at the roster, Kirsten Bell's coming back, Chelsea Gray, obviously, Jewel Lloyd, Nalissa Smith, and Asia Wilson, obviously, and Jackie Young. So those, obviously, that's your main core anyway. Obviously Asia Wilson, the four-time MVP of the league. And so when you look at Vegas, obviously you're going to have. I like the pickup. Speaking of Notre Dame, Brianna Turner goes from Indiana to Vegas. I like the pickup for Vegas there. I've always been a Nalissa Smith fan. I was hoping things would work out a little bit more for her in Indiana, because I really like the 1-2 game that her and Caitlin Clark showed in Caitlin's rookie season a couple years ago. And Jewel Lloyd, who was it just me, man, or did she really, at least it seemed like the first half of the season, really struggled to fit in with this? I don't know if it's just the offense that they run. She was the first and or second option during her time in Seattle. And you go to Vegas where, let's face it, Asia Wilson is option 1, 2, and 3. And then Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young are after that. So when you go to a team with so many options, you kind of almost get forgotten about. And then how about this, Matt? Shenedy Carter returning to the W after a year overseas and a year trying to get back. So she gets into the fold. I'll be honest, I'm a little worried about kind of the Jewel Lloyd factor with her. I don't know. Let's see how she mixes in. Obviously, maybe a different speed of the game as she comes back to the W from China and overseas and stuff like that. But how about this Vegas roster? Again, one of the few teams that are kind of running it back with their main core.
It's loaded, and this is my pick again. Until we see something different to win it again. It's hard not to look at this roster and to see what they did last year, and they bring it back, like you said, they're running it back, and a lot of other things have to happen for teams to get to the level that Vegas is already at. When you have Asia Wilson, she's the best, she's the GOAT, she's the MVP, she's the best player in the league. She hasn't scored. Has she scored 80 points in a game like her man yet? But I don't know if she's done that. But Jackie Young, I mean, there's so many options here with Vegas that it's hard to look away and not to have them in the finals again. And I think that's what they're built. And again, you see how this team is built. Veterans. You go look at Chicago, veterans, former champions, multiple all-time all-stars. I mean, that's the way it's going. And I know there's 14 teams in the NBA or WNBA, and it's hard not to find that. But I think that's what it's starting to. The league is going to be really competitive this year. I do anticipate a competitive league, but Vegas, man, they're loaded. They're just and it's all the good stuff. It's veteran leadership. It's the best player in the world. It's the best. It's just they're just loaded. Oh, and that's right. They got probably one of the best coaches that's out there right now in Becky Hammon. So and I put that in male and WNBA and the NBA. Becky Hammon is a hell of a basketball coach. She's like the Phil Jackson of the WNBA. If there's somebody I could compare that to how she does things, how she runs things, very, very similar to that. It's a culture thing with her. And I think Vegas has that culture there. It's a championship culture. And I think that Becky has a lot to do with that. So they're loaded, man. They're freaking loaded. And I have them going to the finals again.
Yeah. And let's not forget Becky Hammon learned under the tutelage for a few years with Greg Popovich.
Yep.
With the San Antonio Spurs, and she even coached a couple games. And when he got those early technicals and thrown out of a game, she stepped in and stood tall amongst men. So, do you think that? Because to me, she honestly, like, I don't know. I could just obviously the outside looking in, but she looks a little impatient. Do you think that? She's going to be gunning after an NBA job here soon? If it opens up and I mean, is it allowed? I'm putting that in air quotes, but I mean, I think like you mentioned, I think she's ready to be the first female head coach in the NBA.
She's the one that can do it. I want to say, because I know Dawn Staley was talked about for the Knicks job. I don't know how serious that was. I know Becky's been talked about around other jobs. If the right job opens up and is there, I think she could be a good candidate for that. And what's the right job? You got to have the right team. You got to have the right team of adults. You got to have the right team of vets that will understand that she's a basketball coach, and that she's not a woman coming to coach basketball, that she's a basketball coach. If you get that, like, a lot of things have to go right for that situation to work. But if you find the right situation, I think she could flourish in the NBA. I think she can do really well in the NBA. And she's one of the coaches that could do that. Especially the female coaches that could do it. I think Dawn Staley. I think there's some NBA players that would look at Dawn Staley and take her direction. And I feel the same way with Becky Hammon. So if the right situation comes up, and it would almost have to be like a Spurs situation, a team like that, maybe something like a team that has established vets, established leaders there, that you just plug her in and she can go. So I think it's there. The opportunity is there, but it has to be the right one for her to leave. But I do wonder if she might go back to college, because a lot of these coaches, you're seeing a lot of these old professional coaches start to look back to college now, start to go to college game, because it's starting to turn out and starting to go like a professional sport. So I wonder if she could do that. I don't know. I could see her doing something like that, but I would love to see her get an opportunity in the NBA. I would love it.
Yeah, and it helped that she did obviously be an assistant coach under Greg Popovich. She already has that kind of respect. And like you said, Dawn Staley, maybe she goes the assistant route to start, but I don't really see Dawn Staley being an assistant, but maybe that's the step she has to take. And then you also look at Pacers assistant coach Jenny Busek, who's been learning and gaining respect under Rick Carlisle in Indiana. So maybe she takes that route as well, as she's obviously gained some notoriety, and as in Indiana, everyone's like, dang, who's that kind of cougar looking chick for sitting on the sidelines next to Rick Carlisle in the NBA Finals, mind you. So she was already on a big stage. So maybe when that door opens, those three names will be tied to some NBA teams. But yes, I did want to look at also some of the new teams in the league this year, starting with Portland. I was kind of upset that they took Sarah Ashley Barker from the Indiana, or excuse me, from the LA Sparks.
Yeah.
Of course, I just had got ordered her jersey, and then she gets snatched up. But I feel like when you're drafted, it's weird to say drafted in the expansion, but I guess that's what it is. And she was a high pick for Portland, so I'm glad for her to get a chance. I really liked her at Alabama. And remember, she scored like 63 points in that game. It just wasn't enough. By the way, I did look this up. A'ja Wilson's career high is 53 against Atlanta in 2023. So not quite Bam's numbers, but she might get there. She might get there if she might be gunning for it now. Maybe it's
Oh yeah.
maybe it's a hey, you're next, boo. We'll see what you can do.
She's got to be the top scorer in the household for sure.
Yeah, and she can do it, by the way.
Mhm.
So Sarah Ashley Barker, she gets picked up from the LA Sparks. Bridget Carlton, one of my favorite players. I'm glad that I didn't get her Minnesota jersey, and she was there for 6 years, so it would have been safe a couple years ago to get that. But Emily Ingstall, I really liked her with Washington last year. She's a good defensive player as well. Lisa Geiselsuter, who was with Dallas last year, I think with the way Dallas was reconstructing, I really liked Megan Gustafson as well,
Me too.
former Iowa Hawkeye. Won a championship with Vegas last year, and she gets to get a chance to not. I don't want to say anybody's really under A'ja Wilson's shadow, but it's kind of nice for Megan and Pancake, by the way, to kind of branch out and kind of get her own footing, I guess, and show that she could be a possible face of the franchise. Haley Jones, who has landed it in bits and pieces, kind of been around the block a little bit, and I'm really happy for Carly Samuelson as well. Missed last season a lot because of a knee injury. If you follow her on Instagram, her journey through her kind of getting back onto the court has been incredible. Her sister, obviously Katie Lou, plays for Seattle. She's going through injuries as well. I liked her when she was on Indiana with Caitlin, her rookie season as well. But what do you make of Portland's construction of this offseason, I guess, the expansion draft, cutting waiving players? I'm really sad. We talked about this through text as well. They get Chloe Bibby from another Golden State Valkyrie expansion draft, and then they trade her to Phoenix a couple of days ago, and then Phoenix waives her. I'm like, come on, Indiana, just get her back. But
I loved her. Yeah, I did too. This Portland team could be. This looks like an expansion team. And I'm sure we're going to get the tempo here, but this looks like an expansion team. This looks like a team that was built through vets looking for a shot, vets looking for a rebound, vets looking to step out of the shadow, like you mentioned, Gustafson. She was great last year. I enjoyed watching her in the relief minutes. I feel like there was times that she was on the court with A'ja last season. I get her an opportunity to shine. SAB is just a beast. Like, we both love her. Like Samuelson, she was hurt all last year. I was just going to mention, like, yeah, it's good to see her get an opportunity. Bridget Carlton, you mentioned. This looks like a team that could be is a prototypical expansion team. Let's get a mix. Let's see if we can find a core. Let's see if what we have here. Let's see if our core is mostly of our rookies. Let's see if we can get a good vet. Let's see what we can do here. So I think this is a team that is going to look like an expansion team this year. I don't know how good they're going to be. We'll see how this gels, how it looks, but you can be one of those. This could be one of those teams where they could be picking in the top 5 next year for sure. It just depends on how they gel and where they go from here. But this looks like an expansion team for sure.
Do you think they can be? I mean, Golden State last year was the best expansion team in league history as they made the playoffs. Do you think they can be around that number, or was Golden State just too good last year? Or where do you think Portland could end up? Could they be as good as Golden State was last year? I know Golden State has retooled the roster. I like the construction of Portland the way it is now, and I mean, where do you see them shake up amongst?
Of course,
I guess in our sort of our lifetime, or however you want to phrase that. Where do they shake up against Golden State from last year?
like as far as that goes, like I think because you had Natalie was the way she got those girls to play last year. That team, it just gelled. And again, we're gonna see how important Kate Martin. They're looking at it and they're saying that Kate Martin's not that important just for us to have in this locker. I thought she was huge for the pulse, for the heartbeat. I really did. I did feel like, but they didn't feel like that. I think the coach is a big part of what Golden State did, how she coached the team, how she got them through, parts of where they were losing or playing bad games. She did well. She was huge in that last year. Portland, I don't know if we're going to see that same thing from Alex. I don't know much about him. I don't know where he came from. But we'll see what that looks like. And I, as far as the roster goes, I do like how the roster's constructed. I'm with you. It looks like a roster they're trying to bit pieces here, make a rookie here, get this one, get a vet here, look and see if we can get the core. But as far as I feel like Natalie made that coach that team last year in Golden State, and we'll see what kind of leadership Portland has this year. But I think that had a lot of things have to go right for Portland to look the way Golden State did. Now, I do think Toronto can do what Golden State did last year, but with Portland Fire, I just got to see it. We got to see them play more.
Yeah, and just to reference, Golden State finished 8th in the West last year, 23 wins, the most by an expansion team. And you just mentioned Portland. Let's look at them. Julie Alleman was their first expansion draft pick from the LA Sparks. They had Timmy Fagbenley, who we saw in Indiana a couple years ago. She's kind of bounced around. She was on Golden State last year. Mariella Fausla from Vanderbilt on this team. Isabella Harrison, Lexi Held, who I liked in Phoenix last season. I liked her game. And then your girl, Marina Mabry. I think she was the first pick, for and then they gave her a hefty contract extension, which she deserves. We all love the fire that Marina Mabry brings to the game. And they had her sister. They had her sister during training camp, which was cool. She eventually got waived a couple days ago, but that would have been cool. Kia Nurse on this team as well. She was on Chicago last year. And then obviously their first round pick, Kiki Rice from UCLA, national championships. Nayara Sabali, who basically was replaced by her sister with New York, won a championship with the Liberty a couple years ago. And then how about Slim Brittany Sykes, who was on a couple teams last year, finished the season with Seattle Storm. She goes to Toronto as well. And kind of looking at these rosters, man, I'm not going to lie to you. In a best of maybe 7 series, I think I'm taking Portland.
Oh yeah. I gotta see. They got somebody like Mabry. Like Mabry, I love her. Like she's one of my favorite players. She's just got that. I love watching her in Rival this year. She's got I don't know if you follow her on Instagram. She's got a swear jar. Have you seen the swear jar or the crash out jar? I love all that about that she's got, and she went off for 27 tonight. She was 27, 7 and 2, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal.
That was a close game.
And she made that game close. She was making threes towards the end. She was getting to the free throw line. Sykes had 14 tonight. Sably, she was 8. She's 8-6 and with 3 steals. So that was a big something that that was huge. Kiki Rice, she didn't score a lot of points tonight. I don't know how many minutes she played. Let's see if I can get the minutes she played. Keeps clicking on me, but she got into the game. There's a lot to be said there with Kiki Rice. We watched Kiki Rice a lot this year. She's good. But Sably, I know she didn't show it on the with the points, but she got some monster rebounds at the end there. Coming down the stretch. I just feel like for a first game I was watching Toronto has a lot going for them. I really, really do think they have a lot going for them there. Citron went off tonight. Sonia was just freaking unbelievable tonight. So you run into a buzzsaw like that, but I hear you. But I gotta side with just that Marina. I've seen her do it, and we got to see what Baker does there, what she does with that team too. So, but I do like Toronto to do more of what the Valkyries did last year for sure.
Well, we should place a friendly bet on who has a better season. At least we don't have to go as far as the playoffs, but
I'm down.
We can have a friendly bet. We'll have to throw some stipends in there, like if either team suffers a catastrophic injury, like if Marina goes down, or if Bridget Carlton goes down, like those are probably going to be your number one options on both teams respectively. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Speaking of the Washington Mystics, who got the dub, by the way, we forgot to recap these games a little bit. The Mystics get a close victory over Toronto, Toronto's first regular season game in their history, 68-65, as you heard Matt break down some of the scoring there. The Liberty absolutely take care of the Connecticut Sun, 106-75. Was that kind of a shocker for you to see that score?
Yeah, it was. I'm watching this game, and I'm waiting for Washington just to go up. Just to take over and go up, but they never did. Like again, Mabry's coming down, bang a three. Kiki, she'd grab a rebound. Irafan was going off too a little bit. I was watching this game, trying to really see if we can get, to see if we can get if Betts get in. She played 12 minutes tonight. She didn't score any points, but
she had a hell of a preseason too.
She did. She got 12 minutes tonight. When you look at it, I mean that's kind of, they're going to bring her in. I figure she would get a little bit more, but you see Kiki Irfan almost played 30 minutes in this game. Prosper, who was huge in this game as far as her hustle minutes and stuff like that, she played almost 20 minutes. But this roster, the starting five is pretty loaded. And one of our favorite players from last year, Georgia, she's coming off injury. She's played tonight. She played 20 minutes. She scored 6 points. But when they get her going, oh man, her and Citron can get going.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous. And kind of looking at the roster, you mentioned Georgia Amore, Shakira Austin, who a lot of people were like, why isn't Lauren Betts starting tonight? And it's a pretty good problem to have if you have 6'7" Lauren Betts coming off the bench. But I would like to see almost a starting five of Betts at the 5 and Shakira at the 4. But I don't know. And then obviously Sonia Citron, I love her so much.
Good.
She's
good.
Like you mentioned, coming out of Notre Dame, watched a ton of her at Notre Dame a couple years ago. Love her game. And obviously Angela Dugalic, the two UCLA draftees in the first round. I loved how Washington picked up Rory Harmon. I loved her at Texas. I mean, I don't know if this is the right term for her, but she's just like the little engine that could, man. I mean, she is just so fearless for such a small girl, and she does not care, just taking it into the paint amongst the trees. And Kiki Irfan, like you mentioned, Cody McMahon, I love this draft pick as well. She brings a lot of toughness, obviously playing for Ohio State and then transferring to Ole Miss for her senior season. So she's got that Big Ten toughness, as we know so well, Matt, watching a lot of Big Ten. And obviously one of my favorite players in college too was Lucy Olson, obviously playing for Iowa. I was scared, man. I was scared for her job. And I honestly, I was like, I want to get a Lucy Olson Washington jersey because I loved her at Iowa. And then I was scared that she was going to get snatched up in the expansion draft. And I was like, well, then maybe I'll wait to see where she goes. I thought maybe she'd get drafted in the expansion. I thought maybe she'd get waived. Washington is holding on to her, which is, again, when they selected Rory Harmon, when Georgia Amore's coming back, and like you mentioned before we even came on, maybe they're just waiting to see if they're just waiting for Georgia Amore to kind of just get back into the rhythm of things after missing all of her rookie season. So this will officially be Georgia Amore's. I just loved her game out of Kentucky, by the way, too.
Me too.
Once she kind of gets up to speed and up to snuff, if you will, I think honestly either Lucy Olson or, unfortunately, we just talked about Rory Harmon is going to be on the chopping block but someone needs to back her up. So they are
Right.
going to. I honestly think, Matt, that Lucy Olson and or Rory Harmon is on the chopping block once Georgia Amore gets up to speed, and then one of those two players are going to be her backup, or play at the same time, whatever. But yeah, I love this Washington team. I think we kind of both dubbed this team as our second favorite team. I don't want to speak for you, but yeah, I did get the Lauren Betts, Colorado native, Washington Mystics jersey. Again, I was waiting to see what happened to Lucy Olson, but she's hanging on.
She's there for now. But like I said, like we both said, she's on shaky ground. Like she got the least. She played the least last night, or she played the least minutes tonight. She played barely 10 minutes. Harmon played almost 20. Betts played 12. Dugalig played 12. So if you look at that, but Lucy was in towards the end of the game. She was in there and during the crunch time because she's a vet. She's got that she's got that defense.
Her defense is really good.
So I think the defense is going to keep her around and scratching. But like we both already talked about, there's a lot there on this team for her to carve out time, for her to carve out minutes as the season progresses and as they see where they can put these, where they can get minutes, because you got to find minutes for these girls or for these players. And it's just, yeah, she might be on the outside looking in sometime sometimes this season or even in a couple weeks. But we're both big fans of her, and she can ball out on defense. But this Mystics team, it's loaded. It's absolutely freaking loaded, top to bottom. And this team is going to compete with the Fever. Like in this conference, this team is going to compete with the Fever.
All right. Speaking of the Fever, let's move on to them. Like I said, since Denver does not have a team, Matt, I have dubbed Indiana. I'm wearing the hat for Indiana, and then obviously wearing Lauren Betts's Washington Mystics. I do have a Sonia Citron jersey too, so Washington is up there on the list. But looking at this Indiana Fever team, you kind of mentioned it at the top of the show. It's so good to have a healthy CC back. It was so awesome to watch her play for USA Basketball a couple months ago as well, to get her feet under her. I was really, I don't know if I was shocked, but I was really surprised that they didn't either make a move or do something to obtain a bigger center, if you will, either in the draft or make a trade or snatch somebody who's just sitting on their couch right now. I don't know. It was just kind of not a letdown, but it was kind of surprising that they didn't really go after a more kind of mobile big. I think we mentioned it on draft night. We're like, come on, trade up and draft Lauren Betts, but that didn't happen. But so this is kind of how their roster is constructed. Monique Billings comes over. She's new to the team. Aaliyah Boston, who got that monster contract about a month ago, so good to see her. She's sat out a couple preseason games, so hopefully she is up to par. We just mentioned CC, so great to have her back, her third year in the league, and she's raring to go. I'm so glad they retained Sophie Cunningham, the
goon.
Yeah, the Trace Leches is back.
The Trace Leches is back.
For Indiana. I love Sophie Cunningham. I loved her in Phoenix too.
Me too. Same here.
Yeah, she had a marvelous career in Phoenix. I'm glad she's with Indiana. She just complements everyone so well. She can hit that clutch 3-pointer, as you saw in preseason. I'm glad she's healthy as well. She was one of those players who sat out, and they somehow made took Vegas to the brink in the semifinals. By the way, so this player Demiris Dantas, who I like, but she's not the most mobile big. She can hit, she's a spot shooter. I like her, like I said, but I was hoping that they'd get somebody a little more mobile, someone a little more as your prototypical center. If you watch the W pretty consistently like we do, Matt, the W uses more of a prototypical center. They throw the ball down in the post, they back
low
you
post.
down.
Yep.
As opposed to the NBA, where you see centers shooting 30-footers. I like, that's why another reason I like the W is because they do stick to that old school thinking when it comes to bigs and stuff like that. But I do like Damaris Dantes. She got a lot of run in Spain and overseas this year, so she's got a lot of basketball in her, so she should be in good shape to go. Another dog I think they brought in, Maisha Hines Allen. We saw her,
Mm-hmm.
we saw her get a little spicy against some Indiana games last year. She played for Dallas. She was sticking up for Paige Beckers last year. Now she's sticking up for Cece this year. She is a dog. I like that pickup. She is. I almost want to say she's almost out of position as a forward. She could play the five, but I like that piece they brought in. Lexi Hull, obviously, we know what she can bring to your team. She's a good two-way player. She can knock down shots, get to the rim, play some good defense. She did not play in the preseason, so hopefully she is ready to go. And then obviously Raven Johnson was their main draft pick, first round draft pick. And as it happened, Matt, I think we were both a little, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we were both a little surprised at the Raven Johnson pick, because like Connecticut, like Chicago, like some of these teams, they're just so guard heavy. But it seems like she's fitting in just well. Kelsey Mitchell, obviously back on this team. She got a big contract in the offseason as well. Justine Pissot from Vanderbilt. I'm really excited to see her play. I loved watching her at Vanderbilt last season, so we'll see how much run she gets. I really like Michaela Tipson. I'm glad they hung on to her as well. She could block shots. She could get to the rim. She can do a lot of things for you. I think she's going to be the X factor, honestly, this year for the Indiana Fever. She could do a lot of things for you. So, and Shatori Walker Kimbrough, by the way, was a training camp invite, and she made the team out of training camp. I was sad to see the very beautiful Megan McConnell get let go. TJ McConnell's sister.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had two McConnells in Indiana,
Yep.
but they decided. I liked McConnell when she played in college. I was hoping she'd stick around with Phoenix last year. She's kind of bounced around, so she'll be looking for a new home. But like you said, you're thinking Washington can compete with this or contend with this Indiana team in the Eastern Conference. How do you like this Indiana team?
Oh, I love this Indiana team. But like you, this is our home team. Like my wife loves Indiana. I'm a huge Indiana fan. Sophie Cunningham is she's been one of my favorite players in the Dub since I've started watching. She's the way she plays. She's big, she's physical, she's intimidating. She knows how to handle herself. Cece's back. She's back. Let's hope that let's see what it looks like with her being back. I know there was a lot of physicality with her last year. She got beat up. You mentioned, Michaela's here, Sophie's here. There's a lot of help there when you come from that perspective to help Caitlin out. Aaliyah Boston, when Steffi White went to going through her, making sure Aaliyah Boston touches the ball on every offensive possession. When they started to go through her, that's when they really started to roll. Gabby was a big part of that too. Kelsey was a big part of that. But when they started doing that when they started going to Aaliyah, making sure she touched the ball at least once or twice, it went through her. It started with her. They need to do the same thing with her this year. Even though CC's back, they needed the same thing with her. Raven Johnson, I love her in college. This pick, like we were talking about, because I remember we were talking about a big. Akot was still there from South Carolina. Remember that big? She was still there. Beers was available. I know Beers went undrafted, but you're probably not going to draft her that high. But there were names, there were players there for Indiana. They went and got Raven Johnson for defense. She's one of the best defensive players in her conference in the SEC this year. And she's a ball handler too. We haven't even talked about her offense, but I don't think that they're going to need her on the offensive side this year. They drafted her to be that defensive dog that she is, and that's just going to add to that. And then that way you can let Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark go crazy. Just let them go freaking crazy and run it through Aaliyah Boston. And I just, there's a lot here. Like you mentioned, Dantes. She was dealing with a lot of concussion stuff last year. But like you said, she's a big back to the basket, big throw it to her in the post. She'll go down and she'll go to work. Maybe you can spot her up at the top of the key. She can make a shot. We'll see what happens with that. But this team is loaded with vets and has that right rookie mix with Raven Johnson on the defensive end. That, yeah, this team's going to be good if they stay healthy. Sophie's got to stay healthy. Lexi's got to stay healthy. Cece's got to stay healthy. And those bigs got to stay healthy. But if they are, I love how they were keeping Aaliyah out. She didn't play a lot of rival, if at all. She's been resting a lot. So I love the podcast with her and Candace Parker. It's freaking great. But I like this team because I think it's ready. This team's ready this year to compete. They got a good coach. Stephanie White's good. I like what she's been doing. And I've been watching practice. I don't even follow them on Instagram. But they're going. They're going. And Cece's been playing basketball all summer long, which hasn't really happened in a couple years. Like, she's been hurt. She hasn't been healthy. So I think this is the year. I think this is the season that the Indiana's going to go for it. She's going to go. I think you look at Cece's being an MVP candidate. Again, I know that's not a hot take because it's Clayton Clark, but I like Indiana this year. I really, really do.
Yeah, so we will see if they can kind of repeat the success they had last year. I think the depth, held them afloat last year as well. You know, like we mentioned, taking Vegas to the brink in the semifinals was, I think everyone was kind of surprised at that. And Lexi Holt was really the only starter really that was healthy. And like you said, Kelsey Mitchell was doing her thing, and then she had that weird cramp or whatever happened to her where, yeah, that was weird. And then she goes down at the wrong time, and you're just like, oh man, how can they rebound, pun intended, from this? So we will see. It's going to be a fun season, and I'm excited to see how the expansion teams do. Now we have a little side bet going on between Portland and Toronto. Really quickly before we wrap things up, as you kind of saw, we've been playing the Golden State Seattle game, and as you can see, Seattle wearing kind of a different alternate jersey, by the way. The one they wore last year just said Storm across in the same type of font as they're wearing right now. And Golden State's up. I think they're still up big in this game. Last time I saw the scores, so they're up by 16 right now over Seattle. Another player, two players that you see on your screen right now, Stephanie Dolson and Jade Melbourne, were both on Washington last year, and we talked about how stacked they were. There's just no room for these players, so I'm glad they found a home with Seattle. But I did want to talk about these. Every team just released like new alternate jerseys, Matt. I already ordered my Indiana Caitlin Clark. Look like a vanilla Coke back in the 60s type.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah,
it does look like a vanilla Coke bottle. But
I like them, but it does look like a soda can for sure.
Yeah, so here is kind of what they look like here. You see Dallas. The Dallas one really looks kind of like the Mavericks alternate, kind of that green and stuff. Indy's cool, yeah. The Caitlin Clark right there. You see Cunningham's ATL. That really, they straight took that from the Atlanta Hawks. They have basically the same type of alternate jersey.
Yeah.
It's playing off the Atlanta Peach theme right there. We go down. You can see Washington's, Matt, really different from what they wore last season. It says District of Change. And then you see the New York Liberty in the middle there, a little bit different. Vegas really went different, and as opposed to what they've been wearing. I do have this one right next to me. I'm going to show you my favorite Vegas one was this one, Matt. Let me take this off. Let me take this off the screen so you can see a little bit. This was my favorite.
Yeah, I like that one.
And you can see like the diamond pattern on the bottom. Yeah, this was my favorite Vegas one. But that one's not too bad. I'm glad they're shifting direction just a little bit right there. So there's your Las Vegas one. Phoenix, shades of the Phoenix Suns. They always kind of have that same kind of style. Tempo, they're brand new this season, so you don't really expect maybe a whole lot of change from them in their first season. Chicago went a little cool this year, says Skytown right there. So that one That one is kind of cool. What their alternate one said last year, I think it said oh man, I forgot what it said on there. It was close to Skytown,
Wasn't it
wasn't it?
like Shy something? CHI something like that?
No, I
I
don't
feel like
remember.
I can't remember exactly. I keep popping the Skyline one that they have in there, but that one keeps popping in my head. The one that Haley was wearing.
Yeah, they had a cool like pinstripe one. It kind of reminded me
The White Sox.
of of the old like 90s Bulls jersey.
Oh yeah. The black one, the black with the white
Yeah,
pinstripes.
yeah, the black and the
Yeah,
blue. Yeah, so it did say Chi-Town last season. So now it says Skytown, which is cool. Kind of a little different there. You see the same kind. The Minnesota Lynx. There's a new one right there. That one.
I like that
That one-
LA one. I like that LA one because
There
it
you go.
doesn't
Maybe
have Laker
there's your
colors.
Kelsey Plum idea.
I think it is. I think it is my KP one because I was gonna do it the other day, but it's
hard.
too damn
Yeah.
close to Laker colors, man. I can't that, but I like
That's
that
why.
one.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, I don't really know where the green's coming from. That's kind of
Yeah, true.
yeah, but I do like this Portland one, by the way. For as new
Yeah.
as see, I mean, hey, Portland's already beaten Toronto in the alternate jersey department. Let's face it. So that one's cool, and you can kind of see in the background. It's called Rose City. You can kind of see in the background. There's a bunch of roses outlined. I thought about that for my Bridget Carlton, but I went with their classic red. You see the Seattle Storm right there in the middle. That's what they're playing in tonight. Yeah, this Liberty one is kind of cool. It says Brooklyn on it. So that one's kind of cool. They do play in Brooklyn, so that one is cool. The Valkyries, I kind of like that, Matt. You kind of see the I don't know if I can zoom in, but you kind of see like it's almost like the Valkyries are like they got the Golden State right there, the bridge kind of up in the corners of the back. So that one's kind of cool. I like that Valkyries. I like the way of the Valkyrie right there.
The way of the
there is a Connecticut right there. The one that says Kisuk, by the way, could be saying that completely wrong, but that is right there. I don't know if there are any more that we haven't seen. Yeah, and then it's just going to last year. I almost got this Washington one for my Sonia Citron, but
yeah,
I don't know. It has a heart right there under the thing, so that
I really like that. I like that LA one. I might have to get that one.
Let's go back up and see. There you go. Look at Kelsey Plum right there. It's a sign.
The 99. What is she? The 99, 100,000, 99 or 99, 99, 99 lady.
She's the 1 penny away. She's the one penny away in air.
Yeah, I like that. Because it doesn't scream Lakers. It's something different.
I'm really curious where they got that green from.
Yeah, because you can see the yellow a little bit, but that green is But like again, it's not purple and it's not yellow.
Yeah, and I got the Sparks alternate last year for my Sarah Ashley Barker one, and well, not only is it become moot at this point because she's now on Portland, but yeah, it's almost scary to get W jerseys just because of the, like we said, the cutthroat movement that goes on. So that's a little scary. But some are safe. I think if you got a Caitlin Clark one a couple years ago, that one's safe. I think she might be in Indiana for a while, unless if you got an Angel Reese Chicago jersey, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I feel bad for you. Poor Angel Reese, man. She's there. And she's
we
not
almost
on a
went
bad
the
team
whole
in
show
Atlanta,
without it.
I know we did.
But hey, I'm not dogging her.
I don't hate her. She's just gotten the worst. I don't know if I want to call it luck. Like the ball has not bounced her way. She gets traded. Basically, just they gave up on her because they everybody thought they were gonna put Chicago was just gonna put everything into her like Indiana did. No, they traded her. They got rid of her, and then now she can't make a layup. She's trying because I was thinking that if she adds the 3-pointer to her game and she can make it consistently, that's gonna bring people out, and then she can go to, because she has a good post up game, but her her me bounds, I just can't get away, and it's so hard to defend. It's so hard to defend, but I love the way she plays outside of the shot making.
Yeah, I mean, she led the league in rebounds last year. I mean, that's a pretty important stat. I get it, the me-bound thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, because
And
she's getting her own misses, but like she plays her, she's good down there. She's got good feet work. She's fast. I thought you throw in a 3-pointer into her game, you get that mid range going. She can make, like, she can. I don't know. It's tough to defend Angel Reese anymore. It really is.
That's funny, but yeah, I mean, I do find myself, like, I guess, sticking up for her when everybody online is like, she's trash, she's garbage at basketball. I'm like, dude, she would probably destroy you in a game of basketball. So let's.
Yeah, that's the thing. Let's relax, because like she does. I laugh because it's funny, but when there's certain accounts that post like Angel Reese was in her bag tonight, and it's just her.
Yeah, like missing layups,
missing layup after layup after layup, shooting it or getting blocked. Camilla like swatted her.
Oh yeah, that was.
You remember that?
That was almost like teammate on teammate crime.
Oh, I know, and I saw that and I was like, oh, Angel.
Are you taking it down on Camilla?
Man, I like Camilla though. Camilla's a beast. She's a monster.
She played a lot overseas as well. So, yeah, this game seems like it's pretty much in the bag. I don't know. I guess 9.5 minutes left, up by 16, Golden State, and so this is the third game of the 3-game opening night. As we sort of mentioned earlier, the Liberty without Sabrina, is that that's crazy. That's crazy that they did that to the Sun without Sabrina.
Yeah, and I think the Sun's going to be a team that's going to take a back seat. They're not going to be as good. They're not going to do what they did last year. That's going to be an interesting one. Dallas is curious. I'm curious about Dallas. I really am, to see how Paige and AZ does there, and everything else they got going there and in Dallas. But we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a fun season. I think it's going to be closer. I'm hoping it's closer and there's more parity than anything in the league this year, and teams like come out of nowhere. But I think you're going to be seeing the usual suspects: Washington, Indiana. Los Angeles is probably going to be around. Cameron Brink, she has an impact this year. KP's there. There's a lot of things that we're going to see that if it comes to fruition, we'll see what it looks like at the end of the year. But I'm excited. I'm excited for another season of the Dubs, since we don't get to watch the Nuggets anymore.
Yeah, but and it is, yeah. I mean, I do. I got a Sarah Ashley Barker jersey. Now I'm torn. I really wanted a Cameron Brink one, but I wanted one of hers. I did want I love Ray Burrell, by the way. I just absolutely love her. I love her in Unrivaled. I love her in the NBA. I love her Instagram page. So she's another option I might go. But like you said, try to steer clear of Lakers colors. But we got there is a 4-pack of games tomorrow, and it might be a little bit easier for people to watch on a Saturday. Speaking of the aforementioned Wings and Fever, they'll be kicking things off early, Matt, 11 o'clock our time here. So that'll be on ABC Disney Plus. And then you have the Mercury and the Aces. We didn't get to the Mercury a whole lot, but they might be a good team. They made it pretty far in the playoffs last year as well. And when you have Alyssa Thomas, anything is possible. Yep. She's just a beast down there as well. The Dream opened things up with the Lynx. Dream are going to be an interesting team. They don't have Brittany Griner this season. They do have Angel Reese. I love Ryan Howard's game, by the way. She's a very good player. And then capping things off is the Chicago Sky and the newly minted Portland Fire. Any I guess maybe besides the Fever and the Wings, any matchups you're looking forward to?
That last one there. I want to see what Portland looks like. Because we got to bet. I already saw Toronto tonight. I want to see what Portland looks like to see if
So
I
far,
need
I'm
to,
winning the bet.
if I need to like go back on my or add some like loopholes out of there. Like I need to see what that looks like.
I guess it doesn't. I guess we started the bet after Toronto already lost. Otherwise, I'm winning the bet already.
Well, you technically are. So yeah. Well, I'm confident. I'm still confident. I feel like the coaching will over.
And it's crazy that it's almost unfair that they gave Toronto an away game. Or no, that was home. Never mind.
Yeah, it was home.
I'm sure that place was rocking tomorrow.
Oh, it was packed. It was packed. Yeah.
Tomorrow night at the Moda Center in Portland, that place is going to be rocking the house. God, I really want to make. I know we're kind of texting about it, but I'm so down to I want to travel to Vegas to see.
Yeah.
And it's the Aces and the Fever, Matt. I mean, it's Asia Wilson, Caitlin Clark, like everything. Our hopes and dreams are bared on. It would be so cool to see it in person. My wife and I were trying to figure something out around that. We're really looking at like mid-June, late June, or July. We were talking about it. Me and you were texting with it. So yeah, we'll see if it can work out. But that would be the best. That'd be because you can. There's some games too where you can come in like and watch a game on a Friday, and then they swing back around and play another game on a Sunday. And you saw those tickets. They're not expensive. No,
the flight's not that bad.
Well, no, flight to Vegas is like $150 round trip, not bad at all. And then, yeah, I mean, every what is it? I think they move. What is it? 44 games now, and I think 39 of the 44 games that Indiana is playing, they're moving to an bigger NBA arena.
Yeah.
So it is going to be they usually play in like the MG. It's like part of the MGM Grand, like something like that, but they're moving it to T-Mobile Arena where like the Golden Knights play. And so that would be fun. That would be really fun to see CC in Asia. I would be torn, Matt, between these two jerseys I have to my left. I would be torn because should I wear I'll start wearing a Caitlin jersey and then Indiana might lose or something and then pull it off and have an Asia they both wear 22, so it kind of works out.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a half and half because I know my wife loves Asia Wilson too, and she loves Caitlin Clark, so she's kind of that same way. So you could do something like.
Hey, coming from Denver where we don't have a team, I think it's allowed to kind of.
I think so too. I agree, and we need to get.
I could be doing what I'm doing right now, Matt. I could wear my Asia jersey and my Indiana hat.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
I would want an Aces hat though. If I'm in Vegas, I would want to buy like a authentic Aces hat.
Yeah, I'd like that. That sounds nice.
So, maybe we'll do like a TikTok live from T-Mobile Arena.
That'd be cool.
Between and our I tried to get Dib Sports on tonight. He's a big WNBA guy as well. He's actually traveling. The old bastard. He's actually traveling to Indiana right now to watch the Fever tomorrow. So
what?
Good on him. He was. Yeah, and during our draft show, I wanted to get him live. He went to the draft as well, so I tried to get him like a live look in at the draft. Just didn't work out. Schedule didn't work out. Whatever. So hopefully we get him on. Hopefully I can coax him into having his podcast on our network as well. So maybe maybe we have to. I don't know, but hopefully we could get that worked out. A big WNBA guy as well. Go follow him. Dib Sports on all socials as well. Huge Indiana fan. Huge Caitlin. It's funny because on all his videos he posts like the Hatlers. He calls the Caitlin Clark. Yeah, the Hatlers. Everyone who talks, I guess, shit about Caitlin Clark, he says they're Hatlers. So go follow him on Instagram and all the socials as well. But let's wrap things up here, Matt. Anything else on your mind you're looking forward to this season? Any other? I know you kind of mentioned Vegas back in the finals. Any other way too early predictions you want to throw out there?
Look for Citron. Like I said, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think you can throw her into MVP talks. I feel like
I think honestly, I think there should have either been a co-rookie of the year last year or honestly, she should have won it outright.
Yeah, I agree. I
know I love Paige Beckers. Like, I have no beef. I'm not part of the Paige versus Caitlyn thing.
me
It's
neither. Yeah,
okay to like two people at the same time. By the way, it is allowed. You can like Kate. You can like Caitlyn. I almost call her Cage. I almost combine their names, Caitlyn and Paige. But I love Paige Beckers. But honestly, I think Citron should have been in, and it wasn't even close. If I remember
No.
right, the Rookie of the Year voting wasn't even close, and it was a shame because Citron's had such a fabulous rookie year.
Yeah, she was great, and this team that she's like we'll see what that looks like, and I think Lauren Betts. I mean, if she gets the minutes, she could be a Rookie of the Year candidate. Let's let like something like that could happen. But Raven Johnson could be that defensively. We'll see how much minutes she gets, but yeah, I think that we're going to see there's going to be a lot of parity. I think we're going to have a lot of good teams this year in the dub, and there's going to be there's still some what the hell, why did they do that moves that are coming. I feel like there is, because we're going to see they're learning all this as they go, so we're going to see some what was that, that kind of situation. I feel like we're going to see it.
Yeah, so we will stay tuned. Hopefully we can get some more dub shows as the season goes on as well, but we wanted to get on as the season opened up tonight. And again, you kind of saw us showing the Seattle Golden State game. Seattle still down 17, just over 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Golden State 78, Seattle 61. I hope for Seattle's sake, I hope Dunn Malonga takes a huge leap forward as well, Matt.
Yeah.
She had a fun rookie season. She dunked an unrivaled, so that was cool to see.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, the WNBA is so cool that they use the bigs as kind of that old school, and you see Dunn Malonga packing people down as well. So, yeah, that'll be Seattle's going to have an interesting year. They totally retooled as well. They went from a very veteran heavy team to a very young team, and so we'll see what kind of moves they make as the season goes on as well. But we want to thank you for listening, watching. Don't forget to hit us up on all socials, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, as well as on YouTube at Recliner Media. Go to our home base as well, reclinermedia.com, for all the on-demand stuff as well, blogs as well. And don't forget to go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music to catch the audio as well. But for Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Spill, and this has been our full court press edition, the WNBA season preview on Recliner Media and the ReclinerMediaNetwork.com. We will talk to you soon.